This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster.
A long time ago, May 25th, 1977 to be exact, moviegoers were first introduced to a galaxy far, far away and a young moisture farmer named Luke Skywalker.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
Luke quickly teamed up with the smuggler Han Solo.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
For a daring rescue of the rebel princess Leia Organa.
I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you.
From the clutches of the evil Lord, Darth Vader. And suddenly, a $65 billion franchise was launched into lightspeed. Now, after more than 40 years and 9 films, the Skywalker saga is coming to a close.
See you around, kid.
Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, premieres on December 20th.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir.
And the cast sat down for exclusive interviews to prepare us for this emotional end of an era.
It's a more measured, adult approach to the Star Wars journey.
It really brings the entire Skywalker saga to an incredibly satisfying conclusion.
This was going to be the most epic conclusion that I could ever imagine.
I think that every project is its own thing. On this one, the job of this movie is to bring to a close 3 trilogies. It's the end of 9 movies. So while we can't let this movie be an exercise in nostalgia, we have been charged with concluding a story that is 9 movies long. So the responsibility that we had was, of course, to make a movie that stands on its own, that's thrilling and funny and moving and shocking and frightening and hopefully something that stands without having to have seen episodes 1 through 8.
The final installment begins roughly a year after the events of Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Luke is gone. I felt it.
With Rey and the surviving members of the Resistance making their dramatic last stand against the villainous First Order.
For me, it was incredibly exciting, just because I felt like the script really does that. It really brings the entire Skywalker saga to an incredibly satisfying conclusion. And also, I had a bit more to do this time, which was exciting.
It's very difficult. I don't want to give secrets away. So many of the cast get to do things they've never done before, and to the betterment of the whole film. It's very exciting. The ingenuity of the new movie from Chris Terrio and obviously JJ is magical.
Rise of Skywalker was written by Oscar winner Chris Terrio and directed by Hollywood heavyweight J.J. Abrams, who also helmed The Force Awakens back in 2015.
The truth is, it's a bit scary, and it was why I wanted to do it. When I was talking to Katie, my wife, about it, after Kathy Kennedy called and said, would you want to come back and finish the trilogy that you began, of course, the third of 3 trilogies that George Lucas started, I was really nervous about it, and Katie said that maybe that's one of the reasons why you should do it.
I think what J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio have done is they've really captured the spirit of the original in making it about this trio and the dynamics of this trio, and you know, the fun that they have, the camaraderie, the tension, the fights that people that are very close, you know, with each other have from time to time. You get to see all that, as well as a bit of his history.
The Rise of Skywalker trio is led by 27-year-old Daisy Ridley, reprising her role as Rey, the orphan scavenger turned Jedi Padawan.
I am quite proud of this one because it was very testing. Somebody that worked very closely on the first film saw a cut of it a few weeks ago, and he said it's sort of like you've seen me grow up and the character grow up. So I think it's more of a, even though there's still many vulnerabilities and insecurities, it's a more measured, adult approach to the Star Wars journey.
27-year-old John Boyega co-stars as Finn, Rey's brother-in-arms.
This is a rescue. I'm helping you escape.
a stormtrooper defector who becomes a true believer in the Resistance.
Finn in this movie definitely knows what team he fights for now. This is a character we've dealt with through the 2 films. He hasn't always made a decision that's for the best of the crew and for the Resistance, but now this is a fully fledged made Finn. I guess that was one of my major concerns, that we wouldn't see a change in Finn by the final movie, or that we wouldn't, for some reason I just felt like we wouldn't have any time, because there's this Rey and Kylo dynamic, there's a lot of things happening with Leia and the Resistance, so for me I was just like, where are we gonna fit that in? And then when I read the script for 9, I was quite happy to see that Finn is now a fully fledged, 100% committed Resistance member and a fighter, and has no fear, none whatsoever.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Rounding out the heroic triumvirate is the reckless and charming X-Wing pilot Poe Dameron, played by 40-year-old Oscar Isaac.
Well, Poe was never even meant to make it out of the first one. He wasn't even supposed to be in the second act of the first movie. And it's all to JJ's testament, because he's the one that, you know, before we even started, thought, you know what, he should live. He's gonna go on throughout the whole saga. And I remember JJ saying, I kind of want to dirty up this kind of, you know, gleaming hero persona that he has. And so we get to find out that Poe's got a bit of a past that he's also been running from, just like most of us do.
35-year-old Adam Driver returns as the Dark Jedi and leader of the First Order, Kylo Ren. His tireless campaign to bring Rey to the dark side will again be a major plotline.
What's fun is what's been teased so far has confounded the fans. Because when I'm in the desert, is he in the TIE? What's going on? Am I running away? Am I running toward? But in the fight, we're fighting each other. It's, I think, a very satisfying story, because also leaving 8, I was like, oh, I guess, you know, we've sort of mined that relationship. No, we've mined it some more.
Mr. Driver, I feel like for the press for the first one, you used to say funny things about how you'd like just go hug him to see. Has he warmed up? Is he?
No, yes. But that's the whole point. I just feel like if he was an Ice Cube, I've chipped about a quarter off.
I've seen
I'm on
him
my way
smile.
to his heart. You seen him smile?
Yeah. I've seen him smile.
Oh, yeah?
He smiled once when I was wearing tennis shoes under a dress.
Yeah,
he was like, ah,
see? Yeah.
But when Adam smiles at you, you do cherish
I'm like,
that moment.
oh my, I held on to it. Like, it's
Might
a
not happen
good
again.
few times. I'll never forget.
We love him,
I
though.
hold close to my heart.
When I first saw the movie and I saw Star Wars for the first time, I was invested in this idea of aspiration and, you know, heroism, and I think that those are the values that still resonate today. So I'm hoping that there's a 7-year-old me out there that is looking at these stories and having those same kind of feelings.
If there's one thing all Star Wars films have in common, it's a rich supporting cast of characters from across the galaxy. 30-year-old Marie Tran co-stars as the plucky Resistance engineer Rose Tico, a role first introduced in The Last Jedi.
The question I get most is what's it like to be part of this incredible, monumental thing, and I think that's a question I'm still asking myself. I have so many journals that I'm trying to like process this information and figure out what that all means. I think that it's constantly overwhelming, like I said, to see all these magical things coming to life. So yeah, what's it like? And that's a question I probably will be trying to answer forever.
26-year-old Naomi Ackie plays the brand new character Jannah, a brave and noble warrior who allies herself with the Resistance.
I feel like Jannah, over time, has acquired a set of skills that she now gets to use in this.
Stop being humble about it, man. Them skills are
That's awesome. She has a certain set of skills. What? That
She got a
will
lot of
use
skills.
on whoever needs to feel like they need to back up off of the Resistance.
She's a Hulk.
It's gonna be awesome.
43-year-old Keri Russell also joins the cast as the mysterious rogue Zori Bliss, who shares a troubled past with Oscar Isaac's Poe Dameron.
When JJ emailed me and said, hey, what are you doing this time of year, and do you want to come be in Star Wars? I was like, is there a no answer? Like, yes! And to get to be a part of the end, which was so incredible. I had no idea what I was going to be doing. I was like, I'll do anything. I'll serve craft service. But yeah, it's so cool. I mean, to me, these are the first movies I remember seeing. I remember having feelings about. And I was definitely the new person in there, but just to jump into that world and it was incredible. It's so iconic, yeah. Zori enters and is sort of a little bit shady, I think is the word we're allowed to say. Yeah. And she's an old friend of Poe's, so I think her coming in and having such a familiarity with Poe and an intimacy, I think tells a lot about who Poe was. You're like, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up with Poe?
Yeah, and things may have, the last time they saw each other, things may have not been left in the best of terms.
Episode 8 took some big and sometimes shocking chances in a great way, and I feel like what our job was to look not just at 7 and 8, but at 1 through 8, and ask ourselves what is the most, meaningful and true and moving version of this.
Moving for many fans will be the long-awaited return of Billy Dee Williams.
Hello, what have we here?
The 82-year-old actor will be reprising his role as the super suave Lando Calrissian.
Great, I loved it. I was a little bit surprised. Lots of the Lando fans have been wanting Lando to come back, but I just sort of dismissed the whole thing. But when JJ called me up, I got pretty excited, especially because it was JJ Abrams. I mean, he's such an extraordinary human being. And he's so much fun. He is so much fun.
Chewbacca will also be back, played by 33-year-old Joonas Suotamo. This will be Suotamo's 4th appearance as the beloved Wookiee, after inheriting the role from the late, great Peter Mayhew. In fact, Suotamo and an ailing Mayhew actually took turns as Chewbacca during The Force Awakens.
With Peter, really, we had such a great chemistry when it came to him teaching me the ways that he thought Chewbacca was best portrayed, and he gave me so much insight into what goes on in Chewbacca's mind. And I just remember after Solo, he came up to me. We were in the premiere in Los Angeles, and he said to me something along the lines of that he felt like it went as good as it could go. Chewbacca was in his mind portrayed satisfactorily. So that was a great comfort to me, knowing, because I've always wanted to make Peter proud, and the fans who love Chewbacca, their acceptance of my taking over the role has meant a lot to me.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Of course, it wouldn't be Star Wars without Anthony Daniels as the loquacious C-3PO.
You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile.
The 73-year-old actor has played the iconic droid in all 9 episodes of the Skywalker saga.
It's hard not to smile when you talk about JJ, because first of all, that a J gives you that facial expression.
It's true.
Kind of like Joonas.
Yeah, no.
JJ is really, he's really indelible.
He's magical to work with, and this isn't just because I want another job, because as we suspect, the story closes here. But as soon as we began, I had a problem because he would not give me the script. JJ kept saying, I want you to have the best iteration of the story. Until about 2 or 3 days before, and I was getting really antsy because everybody kept telling me 3PO has a really good part in this. So finally I get a script. It's magical. 3PO has been kind of absent for the last 2 movies, a bit of scenery on the mantelpiece. He's back.
I do feel like as a director I approached it a bit differently, strangely, and it was a bit more kind of renegade with the approach. So it was a little bit less safe than Episode 7.
When Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker premieres on December 20th, it will mark the climax of more than 40 years of beloved storytelling.
May the Force be with you.
9 epic films, countless iconic moments,
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Fear is the path to the dark side. I am your father.
and some of the most unforgettable characters in Hollywood history.
Yeah, I think it's emotional. I think it's emotional for all of us because this series of films have meant so much to everybody involved, whether it's people on the crew, people like me, J.J. Abrams, the cast, everybody brings some personal experience to this.
Well, we were there from the very beginning. My screen test, I remember, was with John. John came into my dressing room, and he's like, "You wanna?" And he's like young, sweet, hungry actor with this chance of a lifetime, and now he's like the Prince of Nigeria. But at that point, he was just this sweet young guy, and he still has that beautiful, beautiful heart. And so we were together, and then standing next to Daisy, and I found out that I had been cast, right in front of them, with JJ.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Poe.
Right.
So there's just a real shared history that we have together.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the bond between myself, Daisy, and Oscar is especially unique because we met each other at the beginning during the audition stages, and we didn't meet each other in our roles or sure of our positions in terms of involvement. So whatever chemistry we shared was solely based on, us actually liking the other person and admiring them to a certain extent.
Obviously, it was really nice this time being back with John, and I was able to work with Oscar and various people. But I really miss working with JJ every day. There's a core group of people every day worked with, because I worked so many days on the film and it was a really long film. There's a core group of people who it just getting a hello from a group of people every day, a nice hug, and just feeling in a very safe environment when you're working. That's what I miss.
Working with Monsieur J.J. Abrams was one of the most extraordinary moments of my career. In ways, I guess, I don't even know how to really express or explain, except that he has a beautiful, wonderful energy. And if I find that in my life, if I find that kind of energy entering my domain, I will do as much as I can to make everything work in a very interesting way.
I still love the process of making a movie like this. I don't think there's anything like it really being in the environment and seeing the artistry that comes with everyone who are building the creatures and building the sets and creating the costumes. Every single person on that set is a genius. And I think being part of that has changed me forever, and I will never forget it.
Clearly the responsibility is enormous and the pressure is crazy, but I have found, I think we all have, that despite that pressure and what it means to conclude the story, I think everyone on this movie, behind the camera, in front of the camera, was sort of charged with the same thing and brought their triple A+ game to bring this saga to a close.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
I'm here with the droid, the legend, R2-D2, for an exclusive interview with PeopleTV. And I've been trying to get this interview for a very long time, but R2 has been relatively aloof about the whole thing. And I hope we've cleared up any misunderstandings that we have between us. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the new droids on the block, DO, BB-8. I hear that you're sort of a mentor, but sometimes there's tension. Does a droid worry about growing old in Hollywood? I see. Well, you look great. Your skin looks great. You're very taut for a droid. The dome is shiny. The light display is amazing. This has always worked for you. The little circular one I've always found particularly fetching. So BB-8, it's been a little while. When we first met, you were an unknown actor, just trying to make it in Hollywood. Now you can't even roll down the street without people calling your name, asking for autographs. How are you coping with just the kind of mass crush of attention that you get? Well, it is true, like if you're among other droids, there's a certain level of anonymity that you can maintain, you know? They know how to keep it real with you, right? Yeah. How was it bringing Dio into the cast? And is there any truth to this rivalry? Oh, I see. Well, it's good to know that you guys are like family. It's really good to know that you've been a mentor figure to a small lamp-like droid. Dio, welcome to Hollywood. It is so great to see you. You seem very excited. You remind me either of a young Barbra Streisand or a desk lamp that I had that I was very much attached to. I just want you to know, on behalf of all of us, we're super excited. How do you keep it rolling under so much pressure? How do you do it? Look at that. Unbelievable. I hear you have a very special relationship with BB-8. Is BB-8 just as nice to you off camera as it... Yes? No? I see. Maybe it's a little mixed. Well, I'm sure you'll work out the kinks in your relationship. Yeah? We have to take a picture together because it's hard for me. Nice to meet you, Dio.